Hello students, today we will study a very important and interesting concept, a problem based on time varying magnetic field. Okay, so we basically have a disk. This disk has mass m and radius r, and at the two diametrically opposite corners, which are separated by a distance of 2r, there are charges q1 and q2. Suppose they have equal magnitude, plus q and plus q, in same sense also. Here, this particle has mass small m, this particle has mass small m, mass of the disk is also m, radius of the disk is r, and there is a time varying magnetic field along the negative z direction, whose magnitude is constantly changing with time. So, because of this changing magnetic field, EMF will be induced on the disk. Now let's analyze, let's see what happens because of that induced EMF. So first of all, let's see the root. Let's see the root of this discussion. So if I talk about the root of the discussion, one of the fundamental pillars of electromagnetic theory is Faraday's law. The differential form of Faraday's law of electromagnetism is this. Let me write here. Curl of E equals to minus del B del T. Now integrate both sides, let us do a surface integral of these vectors. So if we do a surface integral, curl of E now please see B dot ds. What is this? This is nothing but flux. This is nothing but flux. Okay. And by Stokes integral theorem, this surface integral can be converted to a line integral. So curl of E dot ds, this can be expressed as E dot dl. And we can write this one minus del phi del t. Please understand this very carefully. So E dot dl is equals to minus line integral, closed line integral of E dot dl equals to minus del phi del t. Now this is the rate of change of magnetic flux. The rate of change of magnetic flux is nothing but the induced EMF. So this is the induced EMF. Okay. Now please see. If you take the magnitude of this integral, so this is basically, so if I take the magnitude mod value of this one, line integral whatever we are getting E dot dl, so I can call it as suppose d phi dt. So suppose I am telling that this particular magnetic field is only changing with respect to time. It has got no spatial variation, suppose. So therefore it is changing with respect to only time coordinate. So I can change the partial differentiation into the d phi dt form. Okay, so this becomes an exact differential from inexact differential. Anyways, so we can express minus del phi del t, as phi is a function of only time coordinate, minus del phi del t can be written as d phi dt. Now please see, this E dot dl is nothing but induced EMF. This EMF is induced where? On the surface of the disk. So what is our goal? What do we want to find out? We want to find out that what is acceleration of charge, say q1. We want to find what is acceleration of charge q1. Okay, so our goal is to find acceleration of charge q1. Now once you know this, you please see, where is the charge q1 present? The charge q1 is present on the periphery of the disk. And if you do this line integral, basically what will you get? So this line integral of E dot dl, we can write it like, let me write here. So E into 2 pi r. What is E? E is the electric field. equals to d phi dt, right? What is d phi dt? Please understand. What is phi? Magnetic flux is B into A. Now who is changing? B is changing, A is fixed, area of the disk is fixed. So this is nothing but, I can write this one, A dB dt. And what is A? A dB dt, and what is A? A is nothing but pi r square. So this is pi r square dB dt. So pi r square dB dt, you cancel off pi, cancel off 1 r. So from here you will get an expression for electric field E equals to r by 2 dB dt. E equals to r by 2 dB dt. So this is the electric field which is induced where? At any point on the surface of this disk. As r is constant, you can very clearly understand that E is equals to r by 2 dB dt. It is electric field is varying only with the magnetic field. So basically you see this time varying magnetic field is generating this electric field, and r by 2 dB dt is the value of electric field on the periphery or at any point on the circumference of this disk. Okay, now we understood this particular concept, and we also understood that how we are getting the idea of induced EMF. So this E dot dl equals to minus del phi del t, and this is nothing but the induced EMF. Okay, now you are seeing the negative sign also. So basically this encompasses Faraday's law as well as Lenz's rule, both. Now please see. Current must flow according to Lenz's rule. Current must flow in such a sense so that it opposes the cause which produces it. So here current must flow in such a way so that the crossed magnetic field is opposed. So if current flows in anti-clockwise sense, you see the magnetic field will be this, magnetic field direction will be this one will be the direction of magnetic field, and it will actually oppose B. So the induced current must flow in this particular sense. So this is the direction of induced current. So if this is the sense of induced current, electric field along the path of current will be in a tangential direction. So here at this particular point, the direction of electric field will be this, vertically upward, as the current is going in this sense, and here electric field will be this, vertically downward. So clearly our disk will experience two equal and opposite forces. This plus Q will experience force in this direction QE. This plus Q will experience force in this direction QE. And because of these two equal and opposite forces not acting along the same line, the disk will experience a torque. It will experience a torque, and this particular system of forces form a couple. Two equal and opposite forces not acting along the same line generates a couple which rotates the disk, and the disk will definitely rotate in this sense. As the disk rotates in this sense along this particular axis, so we can find out the torque. And what is the torque? So torque tau net is equals to I alpha. Let's understand it. First of all, I also want to point out that these two forces are equal and opposite. So what is the net force on the system? So there is a net torque, right? Not zero. And what is the net force on the system? Is definitely zero. So net force on this system is zero, implies no translation. And what happens? Only pure rotation occurs. So only pure rotation takes place and no translation occurs. So if there is pure rotation, so what we can say, tau net is I alpha. What is tau net? Either force into couple arm. What is the couple arm? What is the distance between these two charges? 2r. So what we can say? So therefore QE into 2r equals to I alpha. What is I? You see the disk is rotating about this particular axis, about the center. So moment of inertia of the disk mr square by 2. plus because of this mass mr square, this mass mr square, so we can write 2 mr square multiplied by alpha. So or q into E is this one, r by 2 dv dt into 2r equals to 5m r square alpha by 2. Let's cancel off whatever we have. So r into r square goes, this 2 goes. So from here what we are getting, you see QE into 2r, E is r by 2 dB dt. Please see the substitution. QE into 2r equals to I alpha. So E is r by 2 dB dt. Okay, r by 2 dB dt. And what else we have got? mr square by 2 is the moment of inertia of the disk about an axis passing through the center of the disk perpendicular to its plane. Moment of inertia because of this mass mr square, because of this mass mr square. So total moment of inertia of the system mr square by 2 plus 2 mr square into alpha. So from here you get 5 mr square by 2 times alpha. Okay, this is exactly what you have got, right? So now we have got this particular equation. So from here we can find out alpha, angular acceleration of rotation of the disk. So alpha is basically what you are getting, 2q by 5m, 2q by 5m dv dt. This is alpha. So once you got alpha, you can find out the acceleration it's occurring. What is happening here? Pure rotation. So if there is pure rotation, then there will be only tangential acceleration of the points on the periphery of this particular disk. So therefore we can find out acceleration of q1. And how do you get acceleration of q1? So this is the value of angular acceleration of the rotating disk, 2q by 5m into dv dt. Very, very important result. Okay, so this is my equation 1 and this is equation 2. So therefore what we can say, therefore acceleration of the charge q1 is equals to alpha into r. So this is nothing but 2qr by 5m dv dt. So this is our first answer, that what will be acceleration of q1 or q2, whatever you want to find out, there will be same acceleration as what is happening. The disk is rotating with alpha. You see q, value of q is constant, mass is constant. Okay, so this dB dt is a variable. So if dB dt is varying, then alpha is also varying, right? Similarly, this particular tangential acceleration will also vary with time, because dB dt is a time varying function. And dB dt, now you please see, they have told that B varies with time. So B varies with time, it may be uniform, may be non-uniform, we have no idea about it. Okay, so suppose, let us assume that suppose it is told that B is varying uniformly with time. Okay, B is having a uniform variation with time. So basically dB dt is constant. dB dt is constant. If dB dt is constant, then alpha is constant. A acceleration of q1 will be constant, acceleration of q2 will also be alpha r, that will also be constant. Okay, so suppose it is told that the magnetic field is a time varying magnetic field, and the rate of change of this time varying magnetic field is constant. So if the rate of change of time varying magnetic field is constant, then the acceleration of the charge will be this. I hope this particular concept is clear. So this is our equation 3. Now let's go to the second part of the problem. Suppose the disk is now this. So if this is the disk and the two charges are equal in magnitude but they are opposite in nature, One is plus q, another one is minus q. So again, this time varying magnetic field will induce an electric field on the disk. Because of this, because of that time varying magnetic field, because of that induced electric field, what will happen? Induced current will flow. So sense of flow of current exactly same as that in the previous case. So induced, please understand, induced current must flow in such a sense, in such a direction, so that it opposes the cause which produces it. Who is producing induced current? This time varying magnetic field. So current must flow in anti-clockwise sense, so that magnetic field, because of this induced current, is in the upward direction, which opposes this externally applied magnetic field. So I told you that along the path of flow of current at each and every point, direction of electric field is tangential. So if this is the path of flow of current, so here electric field will be upward, and here electric field will be downward. So because of the electric field, downward electric field, okay, so this charge plus q will experience a force QE in this direction. Now please understand, here electric field is in this direction, right? But what is the charge here? The charge here is minus q. So we know that a negative charge experiences electrostatic force opposite to the direction of electric field. So definitely this negative charge will experience a force in this direction. And that will also be QE. So these two forces are in the same direction, right? So they are not forming a couple. So they will not create torque. Whatever torque this force creates about the center of the disk, same torque this force creates. So this particular force tries to rotate the disk in which sense? In anti-clockwise sense. This one tries to rotate the disk in clockwise sense. So they mutually cancel each other. So net torque in this particular case, in the second case, net torque tau net is 0. But what is not 0? F net is not 0. F net is not 0. And what is the value of F net? So equals to QE plus QE. So nothing but 2 QE. So what happens here? Here pure translation occurs. Pure translation of the disk occurs. So pure translation of the disk occurs, and there is no rotation, and the force which the system experiences is 2 QE. So if there is no rotation and there is translation, so how can we find out the acceleration of the system? So acceleration of Q2, suppose here we want to find out, our goal is to find out what is the acceleration of charge Q2. So acceleration of Q2 is our goal to find out here. What is acceleration of Q2? Right? So acceleration of the system will be total force by total mass. So therefore acceleration of Q2 is equals to total force simple by Newton's second law. So it is 2 QE by what is total mass of the system? M plus M plus M. So 3M. And E already we know. So as E is equals to R by 2 dV dt. Now you put this value here. So what will you get? So this is exactly what you get. Acceleration of q2 qr by 3m dv dt, qr by 3m dv dt, right? So in the second case our result is qr by 3m dv dt, and in the first case our result is 2qr by 5m dv dt. Now what is this is the so the we have solved the problem basically, but what is the most beautiful part of this problem? The most beautiful part of this problem is this particular concept up to equation 1. So this is the most beautiful part of the concept. Okay, so you see curl of E is minus del B del T. This is a very fundamental equation. Okay, the first principle equation of electromagnetic theory. So there are 4 equations, one of which is this. This is Faraday's equation in the differential form. Curl is a vector differential operator. You know that is called the gradient operator. So if you take surface integral of curl of E, surface integral, where are you taking? You are taking on the surface of the disk. And the surface of the disk is enclosed by this peripheral contour. So that peripheral contour is C. Okay. So your points are on the contour of the disk. So this is basically C. This line, this circular line is actually C. Okay. So line integral of that electric field will provide us the induced EMF, and that is nothing but minus d phi dt. So that's why E into 2 pi r, area of the disk is constant, so pi r square into dv dt. And from here you got this result, E equals to r by 2 dv dt. If dv dt remains constant, electric field remains constant. If dv dt varies with time, electric field varies with time. Generally it is told that B is a time varying magnetic field, but dv dt is fixed. Generally they tell this, that dv dt remains fixed. Okay, so actually this E dot dl, why it is EMF, why it is EMF, these are all fundamental things that you are expected to know. That what do we know? Electric field is equals to minus dv dr, right? So electric field is minus dv dr. So from here what we can say, or V is equals to minus E dr, and what we are doing, we are taking the line integral. So here the length of the path, an infinitesimal length of the path is dl. So that's why line integral E dot dl, and we got E equals to r by 2 dv dt. Once you got it, here these two charges are positive charges, so they experience force in the opposite direction, they create a torque, the disk rotates. So you find out tau net equals to I alpha, but net force is 0. So from here we got alpha, we got acceleration of the charges q1 and q2. These are all tangential accelerations, alpha into r. Okay. Similarly, in this particular case, by the same approach, electric field is always tangential to the path of the current at any point. So here also same thing happens, QE. So net force is 2 QE, but net torque is 0. So there is no net torque, only net force, because of which pure translation of the disk takes place. There is no rotation of the disk. So in this way you get acceleration of Q2. So I hope this particular problem has cleared so many doubts on electrostatics, electromagnetic induction, time varying magnetic field, as well as a little bit of rotational dynamics. This is the entire view of this particular problem. If I show you, thank you very much.